the laundry's piling up. But there's one thing I won't put in the wash. It smells like your cologne and bad decisions, like the night we danced without the music on. The sleeves are frayed from all the times I've held them, pulled across my knuckles in the cold. It doesn't fit me right, but nothing does now. Nothing's felt like mine since you let go. And I know it's just a fabric, just a zipper and a thread, but it's the closest thing to holding you that I have left. I'm still wearing your hoodie at the edge of my bed at 3 a.m. Still wearing your hoodie like you're coming back to get it, like you'll knock and say, let's try again. But the porch stays dark and quiet, and I pull the strings a little tight. I'm still wearing your hoodie, 'cause I'm not ready for goodbye. My friends say throw it out or burn it maybe, make a ceremony of the grief. But they don't know I sleep inside at nightly, wrapped in all the warmth you didn't leave. There's a coffee stain above the pocket lining from that Sunday morning making eggs. You kissed my neck and said keep it forever. Funny how forever has an edge. And I know I should let go of it, fold it up and put it in a box. But removing you from my body feels like tearing off a lock. I'm still wearing your hoodie at the edge of my bed at 3 a.m. Still wearing your hoodie like you're coming back to get it, like you'll knock and say, let's try again. But the porch stays dark and quiet, and I pull the strings a little tight. I'm still wearing your hoodie, 'cause I'm not ready for goodbye. One day I'll wash it, one day the scent of you will fade. One day I'll fold it, put it in a jar and walk away. One day I'll wear something that's only mine, something that doesn't make me cry. But today is not that day. Today is not that day. I'm still wearing your hoodie in the grocery store at midnight now. Still wearing your hoodie on the floor of the apartment that was ours before the quiet got loud. And the fabric's getting thinner, like the light that I'll be fine. I'm still wearing your hoodie, 'cause it's easier than losing you twice. Easier than losing you twice. Still wearing it, still holding on, still smells like you. Still. I typed it out and deleted it 11 times. Settled on a hey like nothing's wrong. Watched the little bubble float, then vanish. 3 dots that disappear before the dawn. My screen lit up for everyone but you tonight. Notifications from the ones who don't matter yet. I keep refreshing like a prayer that lost its God. Scrolling through the silence and the sweat. And it's not the waiting that destroys me, it's the knowing that you saw. You held my heart between your fingers, read it once and let it fall. Left unread again. conversations sometimes back when you'd send voice notes from your bed. You laugh compressed in 37 seconds. Now I can't even get a word in text. And I hate that I keep checking, like my worth lives in your phone. How'd you make a tiny rectangle feel like the loneliest place I've known? Left on red again, at the bottom of your screen. Left on red again, like I'm easy to unsee. You got time for everybody's story, but my name just disappears. Left on red again, like I'm something you outgrew. And the blue check is the cruelest thing that you could ever do. Maybe I should stop sending little pieces of myself into a void shaped exactly like your mouth. Maybe love in this millennium dies in the delivered notification. No funeral, no fight, just silence dressed in Wi-Fi. Keep forgetting that the opposite of love isn't hatred. It's a message left unopened on somebody's phone. Left on red again, in the middle of my breaking down. Left on red again, like my hurting doesn't make a sound. I gave you every honest word I had, and watched them hit your screen and drown. Left on red again, and I finally understand. The space between delivered and forgotten is exactly where I stand. Exactly where I stand. Delivered, seen nothing. Again, 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 again. We were standing by the door that night, your keys already turning in your hand. The air between us heavy like a secret, both too scared to say what we had planned. I watched your mouth begin to shape a word and swallow it like something made of glass. You looked at me the way the moon looks leaving, like knowing you were beautiful won't last. And the moment hung like smoke between your breathing and my own. 3 words sitting on my tongue that I carried all the way home. I almost said I love you, standing in the doorway light. I almost let it slip out like a prayer into the night. But I swallowed it like silence, held it burning in my chest. Now I'm living with the echo of the thing I never said. The thing I never said. You texted me a photograph last spring, us laughing at that restaurant in May. I zoomed in on your hand beside my shoulder, almost touching in that almost kind of way. I wonder if you practice being strangers the way I practice saying I'm alright. Do you ever mouth the words to empty ceilings, the ones we couldn't say that final night? And the we couldn't give away. I would've meant it if I'd said it. I would've meant it more than air. But courage doesn't come with warning, and love don't wait for you to dare. I almost said I love you, standing in the fading light. I almost let you hear it, the truest thing I held inside. But I traded it for safety, for the silence I regret. And now you'll never know the words that I'm still dying to forget. Still dying to forget. Almost said it, almost meant it. Almost, almost. Your coffee cup is still beside the sink. Your jacket's hanging where you left it last. I trace the outline of your pillow's crease, like holding on to something fading fast. The hallway light still flickers after dark. I swear I hear your footsteps on the stairs. But every room I walk in holds its breath and answers me with nothing but the air. And I don't know how to fill the silence that you left behind. It follows me, it swallows me, it plays on repeat in my mind. Where did you go when the lights went quiet? Where did you go when the night got loud? I've been calling your name to an empty room again. Where did you go? 'Cause I'm still right here, and you're nowhere now. September came without you like a ghost. The street we walk feels longer on my own. I found your playlist buried in my phone. Every song adored letting go. The neighbors ask me how I've been. you go? When the night got loud, I've been screaming your name to an empty sky again. Where did you go? 'Cause I'm still right here, still right here. You're nowhere now. Well, where did you go? Where did you go? I'm still right here. Your suitcase has been open on the floor for 17 days, but who's been counting? You moved your toothbrush to the left side of the sink, like practicing for a bathroom without me. The fridge is full of groceries for one. You stopped by in the orange juice I like, and every little subtraction of our life lands softer than a goodbye, but cuts the same. And you haven't left, but you're already gone. I can feel it in the way you hold your phone. Turned away from me in bed like a locked door. You're still here, but you're halfway out the door. Stay or go, but stop this in between. Stop loving me in fractions I can't read. I'd rather have the earthquake than the crack. Halfway out the door is halfway through my back. So pull the handle if you need to breathe, or put your coat down, come back home to me. But don't keep standing where the hinges meet the floor. I can't love you halfway out the door. You kiss my forehead Tuesday like an apology, the kind you give to things you're gonna bury. You laughed at dinner, but your eyes were somewhere coastal, somewhere sunny, somewhere I'm not necessary. I found an apartment listing on your browser, 1 bedroom, 14 minutes from the sea. Close the laptop like it never happened, but I can't see a future without me. And I wanna scream, but I whisper instead, 'cause loud might be the thing that makes you leave. So I tiptoe through a house that used to echo with a love that didn't need me not to breathe. Stay or go, and stop this in between. Stop loving me in fractions I can't read. I'd rather have the earthquake than the crack. Halfway out the door is halfway through my back. So pull the handle if you need to breathe, or put your coat down, come back home to me. But don't keep standing where the hinges meet the floor. I can't love you halfway out the door. I keep setting 2 plates at the table like ritual can keep a person near. I keep saying or instead of my, like grammar is the last thing holding us here. And maybe that's what dying looks like. Not the leaving, but the almost. Not the slamming, but the slow pull of the latch. The way you're here, but just enough to hurt, just enough to make the staying worse than any leaving ever was. Stay or go, but end this in between. Stop holding me like something you don't need. I'd rather have the winter than the thaw. Halfway out the door is halfway through it all. So slam it shut or walk back through to me. But choose, because this mercy is a disease. I deserve a love that doesn't keep Don't stay here. Don't stay halfway. Halfway. Learned your coffee order before your birthday. Memorize the way you crack your knuckles when you're stressed. I'd count the seconds after you stopped talking, just to live inside the echo in my chest. I sat beside you, close enough to touch you, close enough to feel the heat along your arm. But my hand stayed folded like a letter that was written but was never meant to send. And you never even noticed how I dim around your name. Loving someone who can't hear you is the quietest kind of pain. I loved you in silence, in the spaces you forgot to fill. Loved you in the margins of the conversation. Standing still, I held it like a candle in a room you never walk inside. I loved you in silence, and the silence loved me back with knives. You'd call me when you needed someone steady. 2 a.m. your voice like gravel and regret. I'd stay up listening to you talk about her, stitching up the parts of you she wrecked. And every time you said I was your person, the one who really understood your mind, I'd press the phone against my ribs and wonder how a word like love could be so blind. And I almost told you once on the rooftop in the rain, but you laughed at something beautiful, and I swallowed it again. I loved you in silence, in the spaces you forgot to fill. Loved you in the margins of the conversation. Standing still, I held it like a candle in a room you never walk inside. I loved you in silence, and the silence loved me back with knives. You'll never read this, you'll never hear this song, and no, you'll never feel the weight of all the words I couldn't throw. I carved your name into the quiet, built a cathedral out of ache. And the saddest part of loving you is knowing you were never mine to break. You were never mine to break. I loved you in silence, and the mornings you forgot I called. Loved you in the wreckage of the friendship holding up the wall. I burned it like a lantern no one saw but God and I. Loved you in silence, and the silence was the loudest cry. Silence was the loudest cry. Loved you beside your pillow. Rehearsed it in the shower 7 times. Every syllable was honest, every vowel was a window. But when you looked at me, I shut the blinds. I've been fluent in the language of retreating, filing sentences behind my teeth like bones. My jaw a graveyard of the things that mattered, my tongue a hallway leading somewhere no one goes. And it's not that I don't feel it, God, I feel it like a flood, but somewhere between my chest and my lips, the words dissolve to mud. I swallowed all my words, every fight I should have started, every truth that I deferred. I swallowed all my words, the I need you and the stop this and the please don't walk away. I held them in my body till my body couldn't take the weight. I swallowed all my words and they've been eating me from the inside out for days, for months, for years. You said I was the easy one, the simple one, the one who never complicated things. But simple was a costume I was sewing over every complicated scream. I smiled through dinners where you talked about yourself, nodded through opinions that dissolved my spine. You thought the silence meant that I was happy. The silence meant I'd swallowed one more line. And the thing about a woman who goes quiet isn't that she has nothing left to say, it's that she said it all 1,000 times inside a room you've never entered, on a frequency you've never played. I swallowed all my words, every boundary I rehearsed on the drive home, every hurt I never served. I swallowed all my words, that you're wrong and that I'm lonely, and that this is not enough. I composted my convictions into something you could call love. I swallowed all my words and they grew into a forest you will never walk inside. You will never walk inside. I wanna say that you were cruel, but the cruelest thing was me, biting my own tongue so many times it learned to bleed without me noticing. I wanna say I lost my voice, but I didn't lose it. I donated it to your comfort, wrapped it in a bow, called it compromise, called it keeping peace, called it love. It wasn't love, it was disappearing with a smile on. It was disappearing with a smile on. I swallowed all my words, but tonight they're climbing out of me. Every syllable I murdered, every sentence I set free. The I deserve more and the listen, and the know that I was owed. But you hurt me and I let you, and I'm done carrying this load. I swallowed all my words, but I'm speaking now. I'm shaking, but I'm speaking now. And my voice sounds like a stranger, but she's louder than the silence. She's louder than the years. She's mine. She's finally mine. I have words. I have so many words, and they sound like me. They finally sound like me. Sound like me. I should have left the first time that you whispered. Someone else's logic through your teeth. When you said I'm sorry like a season, something you rotate through on repeat. stayed because the good days were so golden. They made the bruised ones easier to file. I built a cabinet inside my ribcage and stored your worst behind my widest smile. And everyone will say, why didn't you just go? Like leaving is a door and not a wall. Like I wasn't building reasons out of breadcrumbs, calling crumbs a meal and meals a home, and homes don't hit the walls at all. Staying was the mistake, not the loving, not the trying, not the hope. Staying was the mistake. I kept stitching us together with the rope that was only tied to my side of the bed. I kept reading your silence like a letter that was never being sent. Staying was the mistake, and the bravest thing I've done is finally saying that out loud instead of swallowing my tongue. Instead of swallowing my tongue. You cried the exact amount to keep me. Apologize the perfect shade of please. You learned my breaking point and stood beside it, pulling me back just before I'd leave. My mother called it love and I believed her. My friends called it devotion and I smiled. But devotion shouldn't leave you on the bathroom floor Googling, am I happy at 25? And I'm not the villain for surviving, and you're not the monster that I need. The truth is something quieter and heavier. I chose a cage and decorated it with dreams. Staying was a mistake, not the kissing, not the mornings, not the dance. Staying was a mistake. I kept building us a future with my hands, while you kept building exits I pretended not to see. I watered dead flowers, called it gardening, called the gardening belief. Staying was the mistake, and the bravest thing I've done is finally closing what you never had the courage to walk through or keep open. Either one. I packed the car on a Wednesday, nothing poetic about the way I left. No rain, no letter on the counter, just my keys beside the toothpaste and the quiet sound of breath. And for the first time in 4 years, the silence wasn't shaped like something wrong. The silence was just silence, not a weapon, not a wound, not a place where love should be. But was it just a woman and her car and a road that doesn't end at your apologies? Staying was the mistake, believing is the story that I'll keep. Staying was the mistake. I gave you every year I couldn't sleep. Every morning I performed the word okay. Every night I bargained with the ceiling for a reason left to stay. Staying was the mistake, but I am not the mistake. I am not the years I gave away. I am the morning that I finally drove the other way. Finally drove the other way. Not the mistake. I'm not the mistake. Drove the other way. The other way. The other way. It's raining and I opened up the window, the way we used to when the sky would break. You'd pull the blanket up around our shoulders and say the thunder sounds like God rearranging furniture. press my cold feet to your ankles. You'd flinch, but never pull away from me. Now the rain just sounds like rain without the narration, like weather that forgot its poetry. And I used to love the gray days, used to pray for overcast. Now every drop against the window is a fingertip from the past. Rain sounds without you are just noise against the glass. Rain sounds without you are the loneliest soundtrack that I have. We used to fall asleep to storms, your heartbeat in the sky in conversation. Now I lay here in the dark, and the rain has lost its translation. Rain sounds without you, and I can't unhear what we had. I downloaded the app you put on my phone, the one with ocean waves and forest rain. But every setting sounds like you're apart in November on your fire escape again. You'd smoke your last cigarette against the railing. I'd steal your jacket even though you're cold. The city blurred below us like a painting, and you said some things are better left in the rain. I didn't know you meant us, and I keep the window open even when the floor gets wet. 'Cause closing it feels like admitting there's nothing left to protect. Rain sounds without you are just noise against the glass. Rain sounds without you are the loneliest soundtrack that I have. We used to fall asleep to storms, your heartbeat in the sky in conversation. Now I lay here in the dark, and the rain has lost its translation. Rain sounds without you, and I can't unhear what we had. It rained the day you left. Did you know that? Like the sky was taking notes. It rained the night I boxed your things, and it rained the morning I woke up, reaching for a body that had already become weather. And I think that's what you are now. Not a person, but a season. Something that returns without permission. Soaks me through and leaves and leaves. Rain sounds without you are the hymns of every night alone. Rain sounds without you are the only voice inside this home. We used to count the seconds after lightning, your breath against my neck, the only warmth. Now I press my hand against the window, and the cold glass is the closest thing to your palm. Rain sounds without you, and tonight the forecast says forever. The forecast says forever. Rain without you. Still raining, and no one's counting the thunder anymore, anymore. You had this way of making Tuesdays sacred, bare feet on kitchen tile and humming low. The coffee pot would cough its little sermon, and you'd hand me mine without me having to ask. Our mornings songs had a language no one taught us, a rhythm built from yawning and from grace. I didn't know that I was building temples out of someone who was planning to erase. And they don't tell you when it's happening that the safest place you've known can lock its doors without a warning and leave you standing in the cold. You felt like home, like walls that knew my name, like floorboards that remembered where I walked. You felt like home, like curtains catching golden afternoon, like laughter in the hallway after dark. But homes don't pack their bags at 6 a.m. Homes don't leave you standing in the yard. You felt like home, and I'm just a woman with the blueprints of a house that fell apart. I still drive past the apartment on the corner, third floor window where the furnace probably dead. The landlord painted over all our pencil marks, the height of us in centimeters on the ledge. I wonder if the new girl hears the settling, the way the radiator clicks at 2. I wonder if she knows that in the closet there's a heart carved in the drywall, and it's you. And I keep building little shelters out of habits you left behind. Your playlist and your pillow den, the architecture of rewind. You felt like home, like walls that knew my name, like floorboards that remembered where I walked. You felt like home, like curtains catching golden afternoon, like laughter in the hallway after dark. But homes don't pack their bags at 6 a.m. Homes don't leave you standing in the yard. You felt like home, and I'm just a woman with the blueprints of a house that fell apart. I've been trying to make other places feel like something. Bought new sheets and rearranged the chairs. Lit a candle that smells nothing like your collar. Hung a painting where your photograph was there. But home was never drywall, home was never doors. Home was how you said my name, like it was something worth coming back for. And nobody comes back anymore. Nobody comes back anymore. You felt like home, like guns that held the weather around, like promises and pajamas on the couch. Ooh, you felt like home, like safety wasn't something I performed, like rest was something I was finally allowed. But you took the roof right off my ribcage, left the foundation in the ground. You felt like home, and now I build from wreckage. Every shelter that I found, every shelter that I found. You felt like home, felt like home, and I've been homeless ever since, ever since. I told myself I'd take the highway home, the faster route that doesn't touch your side of town. But my hands turn the wheel like muscle memory. drove past your street again, like the road still leads to you, like the turn still means come through, but the driveway holds a car I've never seen, and the pull light isn't waiting up for me. I drove past your street again, and your street doesn't know me anymore. The gas station we'd stop at's been remodeled. They tore the bench where you first held my hand. There's a new fence around your neighbor's garden, like even the geography moved on from what we planned. I parked sometimes 3 blocks down in the darkness, engine off and let the silence fill the car. I play the playlist you made for my birthday and cry to songs that don't know what they are. And I know this isn't healing, I know this isn't growth, but there's something about your street light that still feels like coming home, even when the door is closed. I drove past your street again, radio off and tears streaming thin. Drove past your street again, like the cul-de-sac still curves toward your left, like the mailbox still has letters from my past, but the garden's full of flowers I don't recognize, and someone else is sleeping on my side. I drove past your street again, and your street doesn't know me anymore. Maple Avenue, right turn after the church, left at the broken speed bump, 3rd house past the birds. I could drive it blind, I could drive it dead, I could find your doorstep from any corner of my head, but knowing the directions to a person doesn't mean you're allowed to arrive. And the saddest GPS is a heart that still drives to a destination that's no longer mine. No longer mine. I drove past your street again. One last time is what I said last time. Drove past your street again, like the asphalt remembers my tires, like the oak tree holds our carvings in its spine. But the windows are strangers now, and the yard is someone else's life. I drove past your street again, and I think tonight I finally won't turn right. Drove past, kept driving, didn't stop this time. The takeout menu still pinned to the fridge, the one we circled everything we tried. We made it halfway through the appetizers, now the paper's curling at the sides. I used to hate the way you'd steal my egg rolls, fight you for the remote and lose on purpose. Now the TV asked me, are you still watching? And honestly, I don't know what my worth is. And it's not the weekends that destroy me, weekends I can fill with noise and plans. It's the ordinary nothing of a Tuesday that reminds me I'm no longer in your hands. Tuesday nights alone now, heating leftovers for one. Tuesday nights alone now, and the microwave keeps counting what I've become. We used to make this evening ordinary, beautiful pajamas in your head against my chest. Now Tuesday is the longest word in English, set 2 forks out, then put 1 back. Like a ritual of subtraction every night. The laundry's faster now, the dish is easier. Efficiency, the ugliest side of goodbye. You sure released a new season on Friday. I watched the trailer twice, then closed the app. Some stories need a shoulder pressed beside you, and mine has learned the shape of what it lacks. And people say the big days are the hardest. Birthdays, anniversaries, New Year's Eve. But nobody prepares you for a Tuesday, when the nothing was the everything to me. Tuesday nights alone now, scrolling through a phone that doesn't ring. Tuesday nights alone now, and the silence has this ordinary sting. We used to argue over what to watch, then fall asleep before the second scene. Now I watch the credits roll to nothing, and the nothing watches me right back. It seems Tuesday nights alone now, and alone has never looked this routine. Monday I survive on adrenaline. Wednesday I pretend I've moved along. Thursday I make plans. Friday I cancel them. Saturday I clean the apartment wrong. Sunday I prepare myself for Monday, like a soldier lacing up for war. But Tuesday is the day that has no armor. Tuesday is the day I can't perform. It's just me and the couch and the indent where you sat, and the remote still warm from no one's hand, still warm from no one. Tuesday nights alone now, standing in the kitchen in the dark. Tuesday nights alone now, and I swear the refrigerator hums your part of every conversation we would have had about our days, about the weather, about nothing. And the nothing was the cathedral, the nothing was the kingdom, the nothing was the only place I've ever felt like something. Tuesday nights alone now, and I'd give anything for one more ordinary night with you. Tuesday, just Tuesday, alone now, alone, just Tuesday. Tuesday, alone now. I saw you at the grocery store on Sunday. You were in the cereal aisle we used to share. You looked at me the way you'd look at weather, polite enough to notice, but too distant to care. Your hand was on a card that wasn't ours. Your smile was for a stranger wearing me, and all those years compressed into a silence, the width of an aisle and an eternity. How did we learn to unknow each other? How did we practice forgetting this well? You used to read my mind across a pillow. Now you can't even meet my eyes in aisle 12. We're strangers with memories, walking through the same town in different lives. Strangers with memories. You know every scar beneath my clothes, every cry I've swallowed whole. But you nodded like we'd met once at a party. flowers on my birthday. I don't think she knows we're something past tense now. I almost texted you to tell her thank you, but I don't have the right to use your name out loud. Our friends divided like furniture in August. She got the Saturday brunches and you got the rest. I got the parking lot behind the coffee shop where you first told me I was different from the rest. And the worst part isn't missing you. The worst part is the ordinary way you've learned to exist without the person who used to be the first thing in your day. We're strangers with memories, walking through the same town in different lives. Strangers with memories. You know the sound I make before I cry, the freckle underneath my left eye. But you pass me like a window you don't look through on a street you've driven by. We're strangers with memories, and the memories of the cruelest kind. I still know your passwords, you still know my middle name. I still know which side you sleep on. You still know I'm scared of planes. And isn't that the strangest kind of violence? To carry someone's secrets in your chest, walk past them on a Tuesday afternoon and pretend you never learned the way they rest. We loved each other desperately, and now we nod. We're strangers with memories, haunting all the places that were ours. Strangers with memories. You know the way I taste when I've been drinking, the prayers I whisper when the lights go dark. But you held the door for me like anybody, like I hadn't held your heart. We're strangers with memories, and I don't know which part's worse, the stranger or the memories, the forgetting or the curse, the forgetting or the curse. Strangers now, strangers now. With memories, strangers now. Do you remember? Do you? Do you? Do you? I've tried the things the internet suggested. Delete the photos, rearrange the room. I bought new sheets in colors you'd never pick, and burn the candle that smells nothing like your perfume. I unfollowed every page you ever tagged me, muted all the songs you said were ours. I even tried to hate the way you laugh, but hating you is harder than I thought by far. 'Cause there's no tutorial for this, no 7 steps, no 90-day program, no unsubscribe, no factory reset, no way to unlearn how someone held your hand. How to unlove someone? Tell me, where's the button, where's the switch? How to unlove someone when the only prayer I have. Step 2, remove them from your daily routine. They are my daily routine. They're the coffee and the commute and the way I fall asleep. Step 3, remind yourself why it ended. It ended because love isn't always enough, and that's the part they don't put in the instructions. 'Cause how do you unlove someone when the love was never the problem? The love was never the problem. How do I love someone? I've been asking every ceiling, every floor. How do I love someone when my blood still spells your name and nothing more? Do I wait until the memories go yellow? Do I wait until your voice becomes a blur? How do I love someone? Maybe I don't, maybe I just learn to carry it differently. Learn to set it down without setting fire to the girl who loved you perfectly. Who loved you perfectly. How do I love you? How do I love you? Still searching, still searching. No results, no results found. You were the first name in every emergency. The contact labeled with a heart and nothing else. The voice I'd call when turbulence got heavy. The only human where I didn't guard myself. You knew the things my therapist is still discovering. The way I flinch when someone loves too fast. You held my panic in your Tuesday evening, like it was normal, like it wasn't much to ask. And people throw that word around like confetti. Best friend, soulmate, other half, my ride or die. But you were something the vocabulary hasn't built yet. The closest thing to home that wasn't mine. You were my person, the one I didn't have to translate for. You were my person, the 4 a.m., the hospital, the floor, the first to know and last to judge. The steady in my shaking world. You were my person, and now I have this person-shaped hole that nobody on earth can fill. 'Cause nobody was you. Nobody was you. I still save things to send you during the day. I mean the headline something dumb a dog. My thumb still hovers over your name by instinct, like muscle memory that hasn't heard the news. I ordered Thai last Thursday without thinking. Got your dish and stared at it like proof that my body still believes you're coming over, even when my brain has left the room. And who do I call now when everything is awful? Who do I call now when everything is good? You were the person I told every person about, and now I can't explain you You were my person. You were my person. And I don't know who I am without the way you saw me. You were my person, a fingerprint on everything I am. You were my person, the origin of every brave thing that I've planned. You told me I was funny and survivable, and seeing you held the mirror up and said, look what I mean. You were my person, and now I carry you like weather in my bones, like a language only I still speak, in a country I walk alone, a country I walk alone. My person, you are my person. I still reach for you in every room, every room, every room. I gave back your t-shirt on a Monday, the gray one with the hole above the heart. It took me 40 minutes in the parking lot to separate my body from that cloth. Wednesday I deleted our first photo, the one where you're mid-laugh and I'm mid-fall. It lived inside my favorites for 3 years, now it lives inside of nothing, and that's all, that's all. And they say just let it go, like it's a single thing you drop. But you were sewn into 1,000 corners, and each thread's a different kind of stop. I'm letting go in pieces, not all at once, I'm not that brave. Letting go in pieces, one playlist and one pillowcase, one restaurant I'll never walk inside again, one nickname I'll stop answering to. I'm letting go in pieces, 'cause the whole of you is more than these hands can lose at once. I changed my coffee order back in April. Yours had too much sugar anyway, but standing at the counter saying something different felt like a tiny funeral I couldn't name. Last week I drove a different route to work, the long way that doesn't pass the bridge where you first told me you could see a future. Now I take the highway and I never flinch, I almost never flinch. And every piece I pull away from you reveals another piece beneath, like archaeologists of heartbreak digging through the layers of belief. I'm letting go in pieces, one voicemail and one spare key. Letting go in pieces, one inside joke that dies when it's just me. One birthday I'll survive without your call, one winter I won't borrow your warmth. I'm letting go in pieces, 'cause the whole of you would break me if I tried to set it down at once. Monday was the shirt, Wednesday was the photo, Friday was your number, gone from my phone. Saturday I threw away the letter, the one you wrote on the back of a receipt that said I love you longer than this ink. Sunday I almost made it through an hour without converting something into you, almost. But then I opened the cabinet and found your mug behind my mug, hiding like you knew. And I held it over the kitchen sink like a question almost, almost, not yet, but almost. My fingernails have crescents from the holding, little moons I pressed into my palms. I held us like a glass above a highway, convinced that if I just don't breathe, we won't be gone. I learned to love the almost version of you, the Tuesday version that still tried a little bit. I built a religion out of maybe and worshipped at the altar of I think he meant it. And everybody saw me carrying something that wasn't carrying me back. But when your hands have held a thing so long, you can't remember what they felt like open. Can't remember what they felt like flat. I held on too long, past the pleas and past the proof. Held on too long, like my grip was all the glue. I held the door, held the peace, held the silence, held the lie, held us together with my teeth when you'd already said goodbye. I held on too long, and my hands don't even recognize the shape of letting go. I made excuses like a second language, fluent in the grammar of he's trying though. I translated your absence into patience, rewrote every leaving as a lesson in growth. My friend stopped asking how you were eventually, started asking how I was instead. That's when I knew the thing I've been protecting was the only thing still making me feel dead. And there's a kind of loyalty that poisons, a devotion that dissolves you from the bone. I held on like a virtue when the holding was the thing that kept me gone. I held on too long, past the crying, past the begging, past the crawl. Held on too long, catching someone who enjoyed the fall. I held the memory, held the promise, held the version that you sold, held the winter like it owed me spring, and watched my summer turn to cold. I held on too long, and my hands don't even recognize the shape of letting go. I wanna know what my hands feel like holding only air. I wanna know what my arms feel like when they're not a chair for someone else to rest and leave. I wanna know what my chest feels like without the weight of a love I was carrying alone up a hill that you were walking down. I've been so busy holding on, I forgot that I was the thing worth holding. I was the thing worth holding. I held on too long, but tonight I'm opening my fist. Held on too long, and there are bruises where devotion lives. I held the hope, held the rope, held the ending like a song, held you closer than I held myself, and that's where it went wrong. I held on too long, but I'm letting go right now. Not because I stopped loving you, but because I finally remembered how to love the hands that do the holding too. Hands that do the holding too. Letting letting go. My hands are shaking, but they're open, they're finally open. I never wrote your name on bathroom mirrors, never posted photographs with long captions underneath. I loved you in the grocery list, I'd whisper, remembering the apples that you eat. I ironed your shirts on Sunday evenings, folded all your sadness into drawers. I didn't love you loud like in the movies, I loved you like a floorboard loves a door. And maybe that's the reason you stopped seeing a love that never raised its voice to stay. The quiet ones don't get a curtain call, they just dissolve like sugar in the rain. I loved you more quietly than you ever knew to hear. Loved you more quietly in the medicine I'd leave beside your water every year, and the alarm I'd set 10 minutes early so your coffee would be warm. I loved you more quietly, and quiet was the thing that made you think there was nothing there at all. She loved you loud and I could hear it coming, red lipstick and a laugh that filled the room. I saw it in the way you leaned toward her, like a sunflower forgetting about the moon. I don't blame a garden for its growing, I don't blame your eyes for wanting bright, but somebody should have told me sooner that devotion in a whisper loses every fight. And I could have screamed, I could have begged, I could have made a scene at your front door, but the kind of love I carry doesn't know how to be a war. I loved you more quietly than you ever learned to feel. Loved you more quietly in the way I check your tires before I drive and memorize a schedule like a meal. In the silence after arguments, when I'd always be the first one to repair. I loved you more quietly, and quiet was the thing that made you think that I didn't care. You called her love a fire, you called her love alive. You said she made you feel like someone turned the volume up inside. And I was standing right beside you with the decade in my hands, holding every quiet act of worship you mistook for simply where I stand. But darling, I was not standing, I was holding up the walls bravest love you'll ever waste. Quietly, so quietly, quietly. You never even heard me go. Never even heard me go. The bed is wider than I ever noticed. Funny how a body hides the math. I sleep diagonal now, like I'm searching for the warmth that used to meet me halfway back. I bought a pillow meant to feel like holding. Memory foam that memorizes wrong. It learns the shape of my shoulder, not yours, and that's the loneliest technology I own. And the dark was never dark when you were breathing. Your inhale was my nightlight, my proof of ground. Now the dark is just the dark, and the silence has a texture, like a mouth that swallowed every sound. I'm learning to sleep alone, like it's a language I used to speak as a child. Learning to sleep alone without your knee pressed warm against my spine. Without the alarm you'd set 10 minutes late. Without the mumble of my name inside your dreams. I'm learning to sleep alone, and every night the lesson starts again. 'Cause morning doesn't mean I've passed, it means I just survived the dark again. I leave the television on for company. Strangers' voices filling up your side. The blue light flickers like a mechanical heartbeat, a rhythm that was never meant to keep time. I try to sleep out with a woman's voice. She said, imagine you're beside an ocean, but all I heard was water with no shoreline. And every wave was just another repetition of the motion of reaching out and finding only cotton. And 3 a.m. still thinks we're still together rolls me toward the center of the bed. My arm lands on the fitted sheet, like falling into a country that my body hasn't left. I'm learning to sleep alone, like it's a muscle that atrophied in your arms. Learning to sleep alone without the weight of you disarming my alarms. Without the head that I find every morning on my chest. Without the argument of blankets being pulled. I'm learning to sleep alone, and every night the lesson starts again. 'Cause closing my eyes without you next to me feels like falling with no end. The hardest part isn't falling asleep. It's the 30 seconds after I wake up, when I forget. When my arm reaches, and the sheets are cold, and the brain catches up to the body, and the body catches up to the loss, and the loss catches up to the morning, and the morning says again, you're alone again, not lonely alone. There's a difference. Lonely is a feeling, alone is a geography, and I am learning the map of this bed. Without you as the compass, without you as the north, tilted it away, but not enough. I thought there was a sunset at a beach bar, the kind of place you said you'd take me once. I didn't ask because I already knew the way you know a storm before the sky breaks. Something in the angle of your privacy had already written me an ending I couldn't take. And I could have screamed or thrown a plate or read through every message while you slept, but instead I lay beside you in the darkness and memorized the ceiling while you dreamt of someone else's neck. He chose someone else while I was still choosing you. Chose someone else while I was planning next July and painting rooms in blue. You chose a different mouth, a different morning, a different name to whisper after wine. You chose someone else, and the coolest part was how you kept on choosing me too, like I was the home and she was the shrine, the home and the shrine. She looks nothing like me, and I can't stop looking. I've memorized a stranger's collarbone. I found a playlist on your shared account, songs I've never heard you play at home. You bought new cologne sometime in August, came back smelling like a different man's decision, and I kissed you anyway, like swallowing a razor, pretending that devotion doesn't taste like incision. And I wanna hate her, but she didn't make the promise, didn't stand beside me, didn't sign the lease. She's just a woman who was handed something precious by a man who told her it was free. You chose someone else while your shoes were still beside my door. Chose someone else while I was ironing your shirt and mopping floors. You chose a different life, a different gravity, a different body learning what I've known. You chose someone else, and the sharpest part was how you never unchose me. You just expanded like love was real estate, and I was the address you outgrew but wouldn't vacate. Wouldn't vacate. Wouldn't vacate. I wanna ask you, when did my body stop being enough geography? When did my voice stop being the frequency you needed? When did the door of me become something you walked through on the way to someone else? Was it Tuesday? Was it gradual? Was it the fight about the dishes or something I'll never have access to? Because the worst part isn't that you wanted someone else. The worst part is the math. You looked at everything I am, calculated it, and decided I wasn't not enough. While I was looking at you and deciding you were everything, the subtraction was only happening on my side of the bed, only on my side. You chose someone else, and I'm choosing to believe it's not my fault. You chose someone else, and I'm choosing to stop auditing my flaws. You chose a different future, different skin, a different ceiling for your 3 a.m. You chose someone else, and tonight for the first time I'm choosing someone too. I'm choosing the woman you made it feel like second place. I'm choosing her first, I'm choosing her first, and she deserves it. God, she deserves to be someone's only room, not someone's second floor, someone's only room, someone's the bathroom floor at 11:47. The tile was cold the way truth always is. I held my phone with both hands like a Bible, your contact open like a wound I've kissed. And I knew the way you know the end of autumn, not because someone tells you, but because the air has changed its mind about the kind of warmth it's willing to provide, and you can feel it everywhere. And something in me shifted like a bone that finally sets after being broken wrong. Not a click, not a thunder, just a whisper underneath my blood that said, this is the night you stop belonging to someone who never held you like he should. This is the night I let go, not with a scream but with an open hand. This is the night I let go of the version of you I built from contraband, from stolen glances and half-delivered plans, from the maybe and the almost and the if. This is the night I let go, and it didn't feel like freedom. It felt like setting down a body I've been carrying for miles across a bridge that burned behind me as I walked. And I kept walking, I kept walking. I poured the last of your wine down the kitchen sink, watched the red swirl clockwise, then disappear. I took your jacket off the hook beside the mirror, the one that made the hallway smell like you were here. I folded it the way you never bothered, sleeves crossed over, chest like arms in prayer, then placed it in a bag beside the doorstep and stood there in the absence of the air. And the house got bigger in the quiet, like the walls exhaled when I decided. And I felt my lungs expand a millimeter into the space where your permission used to live, where your permission used to hide. This is the night I let go, not at the end of love, but at the end of waiting. This is the night I let go of the woman who kept setting her own table, then sitting in the dark, anticipating footsteps that had already chosen a different floor, a different door, a different evening. This is the night I let go, and it didn't feel like closure. It felt like surgery without the sleeping, like pulling something living from my chest and whispering, thank you for the wreckage. Now let me rest, let me rest. I wanna tell you it was easy, that I set you down like glass and walked away with steady hands. But I shook for 40 minutes, pressed my forehead to the kitchen counter, and breathed like someone learning how to use their lungs for the first time without your rhythm setting the pace. And then I made tea, just tea, a small thing, a cup in a quiet kitchen at midnight. For one, and the tea didn't know that it was the first thing I had made for only me in 4 years. The first warm thing that was mine, that didn't need your mouth, your hands, your approval to exist. Just mine, just tea, just the beginning of something so small. It might be everything. This is the night I let go, and the morning came without your name in my mouth. This is the night I let go, and the sun looked different on the way out, like the light had always been this wide, but I've been staring through a keyhole made of you. This is the night I let go, and I don't know let go. I let go tonight. I finally let go. Let go. And I'm still here. I'm still here. Still here. Still here. It wasn't a fight, it was a fog, rolling in so gently I forgot to close the windows. Your hand moved from my waist to my shoulder, from my shoulder to the space beside my shoulder, then to nothing. And then nothing happened so politely, I almost thanked you for it. You stopped kissing me hello sometime around September, but the weather was still warm, so I blamed the heat. And how do you grieve something that never officially died? It just got quieter and thinner like a song played on repeat, until the music was just white. Just white noise. You pulled away so slowly. I didn't feel the distance till the cold pulled away so slowly, like a tide that takes the sand before the shore can know. 1 degree, one conversation, one kiss shorter than the last. You pulled away so slowly that I was alone for months before I realized I could feel the draft. Before I realized you'd already passed. Your text went from paragraphs to sentences, from sentences to shore and sounds good, babe. Your laughter went from filling up the apartment to a sound you made when looking at your phone. And I kept adjusting, kept recalibrating, moving closer every time you moved an inch, like a thermostat in love with a window that keeps opening and blaming it on wind. And the cruelest kind of leaving has no suitcase and no door. It's just a person getting smaller while they're standing right next to you, still saying I love you more. You pulled away so slowly. I kept adjusting to the less. Pulled away so slowly. I made a home inside your absence. Called it patience, called it stress. One word shorter, one touch fewer. One evening you forgot to text. You pulled away so slowly that by the time you finally left, the leaving was a whisper, and the whisper was a breath I've been holding since the death of us. I keep replaying it in slow motion, which is funny because it already happened in slow motion the last time you reached for me in your sleep. I remember because the rain sounded different when your arms still crossed the equator of the mattress. The last time you said my name, like it was a destination and not an afterthought. I can't remember. That's the thing about gradual. The last time doesn't announce itself. It just becomes the last time, retroactively, like grief with a delayed fuse. And I wonder, did you know you were pulling away? Or did it happen to you too? Like gravity in reverse, like falling up so slowly. You didn't notice you were flying away. I'm still reaching for the place where you were a moment ago, a month ago, a year ago. Still reaching, reaching. You used to leave me notes inside my lunchbox, tiny folded squares that smelled like your morning. Said things like you're my favorite human being, and drew a sun beside the word good morning. You used to fight for me at dinner tables, correct your mother when she got my name wrong. You wore your love so loudly I could hear it from across the room, across the city, across the lawn. Don't know the exact day that it shifted, can't circle it in red and say right here, but somewhere between the notes and now, the effort left, and only you appeared. I miss you from before you stopped trying, before your love became a thing you scheduled in. I miss you from before the eyes went quiet, before the kiss became a period and not a beginning. You're still here, but the you I fell for isn't. You left some time between the spring and fall. I miss the man who tried like love depended on it before you stopped. That was when I lost it all. That's when I lost it all. Yeah. You used to ask me how my day was going, like the answer was a country you wanted to visit. Now you're not, while scrolling through your phone and call it listening, but listening has a distance. You used to plan things, weekends, little adventures, a bakery you'd read about, a trail that overlooked the lake. Now Saturdays of silence we both sit in, pretending that the quiet isn't shaped like a mistake. And I keep thinking if I love you louder, maybe you'll remember how it's done. But I've been performing for an empty theater, and the lights went down before the second act begun. I miss you from before you stopped trying, before good morning lost its exclamation point. I miss you from before the bed got wider, before you rolled away and made the cold a joint appointment with my spine every single night. You're still here, but your effort took a train. I miss you from before you stopped trying, and I don't know how to love someone who's present but has left the building, left the rain, left the rain. I found one yesterday behind the bookshelf where it must have fallen 2 years ago, maybe 3. It said, hey beautiful, I know today is Tuesday, and Tuesdays are your hard day. So I'm writing this at 5 a.m. before you wake up, so that somewhere between the coffee and the commute, you find a little proof that somebody in this world woke up early just to love you on purpose, on purpose. And I stood in the kitchen holding this little square of paper like a fossil, like evidence that once this love was deliberate. And I wanted to walk upstairs and show it to you and say, was it the same? Wouldn't recognize the same before you stop. Before you stop, I was someone you chose on purpose. On purpose, do you remember? Purpose, do you remember? You brought me sunflowers every other Friday. Said you liked the way they made the kitchen glow. I'd cut the stems at angles like my mother taught me. Arrange them in the jar we found in Tokyo. But the last ones came with silence in a suitcase. You set them on the counter, didn't stay. And now they're bending toward the floor like they're apologizing for a man who couldn't do the same. And the water's turning cloudy, and the petals have begun to drop. And I keep them dying on the table, 'cause replacing them means knowing that you stopped. There are flowers on the floor, and I don't pick them up anymore. Flowers on the floor, every petal is a Friday you're not walking through the door. I used to keep them perfect, kept them trimmed and kept them bright. Now they're rotting in the kitchen in the last of your light. There are flowers on the floor, and they're the only things you left that still remember what you came here for. My neighbor asked me why the garden's overgrown. I used to plant in rows of lavender in time. You'd sit on the back step and read me horoscopes while I buried seeds in little lines of time. Now the weeds are taller than the roses, and the soil's gone dry beneath the fence. Turns out I wasn't growing things for beauty, I was growing things because you paid attention. And I never liked the thorns before, but now I understand. Some things only bloom because somebody's there to hold the branch. There are flowers on the floor, and I don't pick them up anymore. Flowers on the floor, every stem a little spine that snapped the day you shut the door. I used to believe in gardens and in roots that hold through storms. Now the only thing that's growing is the quiet getting warm. There are flowers on the floor, and they're the only things you left that still remember what you came here for. He loves me not. He loved me once in a parking lot, holding cheap carnations from a gas station stand, saying these will die by Tuesday, but I love you past the end. Liar, beautiful liar, even the flowers outlasted your hands. Even the flowers outlasted your hands. There are flowers on the floor, and I'm finally on my knees. Flowers on the kitchen floor. I'll call